Hello and welcome to another video on the Football Commentaries YouTube channel. Today we are going to be reviewing the round 16 games that are remaining and the quarter-final draw and the semi-final draw that was taking place on Friday. This has been uploaded on Sunday, but I'm recording this on the day of the draw. I want to kind of bring back a new series, or an old series, on this channel that was on this channel when it was first started about 4 years ago now. All the videos aren't on here anymore, but it's called Football Talk, and it was inspired by Spencer FC's, the guy who runs #United and created it. He did one called IMO, and I kind of got some inspiration from that, so I did my own called Football Talk. This won't be officially part of the series, but I probably will put it in the playlist of it when I start that series once again. It'll just be me. It'll be like, basically, if you watch this video, it'll just be like this, me talking to the camera, no one with me, and talking about the main pinpoints of football at the time. So obviously the draw is the main one now, and then I'll try and upload like these kind of videos once every 2 weeks, maybe once every 3 weeks. It just depends on what happens in football. You know, I don't want to be doing it on boring topics that no one cares about, so if it means I have to do them once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, just so they are fresh and important videos, not like boring ones that no one, and on points no one cares about, then I'll be doing them every now and then. But I think that'll make it more exciting when they are uploaded, because it's not forced down your throat. It's kind of spaced out. But I'm going to be reviewing the remaining round 16 games that we've got to play and what that could mean for the quarter-final draw and obviously the semi-final draw as well. So we obviously have some very, very big round 16 games still yet left to play. Obviously Real Madrid, Manchester City, you could kind of say the standout one, but Lyon, Juventus, Napoli, Barcelona, Chelsea, Bayern Munich still left to play. Obviously Chelsea, massive mountain to climb, 3-0 down with 3 away goals against them, against Bayern Munich. So that pretty much sees Bayern Munich through, and obviously the form they've been in since the restart. And if you've watched the Bundesliga, you would have seen that their form was just out of this world. It was just incredible. Obviously I did a few commentaries on them, and every time I watched them they just got better and better. So we'll go through fixture by fixture, and I'll kind of say where I think people are going to finish in the competition, and and just see who's going to be facing each other come the semi-finals. So we're going to start with Real Madrid, Manchester City. Obviously and the winner of that will play Lyon, Juventus, and obviously we'll start off with the first fixture, Real Madrid, Manchester City. That finished 2-1 at the Santiago Bernabeu, with City winning that game with 2 away goals, and Sergio Ramos getting sent off as well, which is obviously a massive, massive factor for this game, the fact that he won't be playing in it. So if you take that into consideration, it obviously gives Manchester City a massive, advantage in this game, because Ramos plays. I think for me it's a different ball game, because they have their leader, their main man there. He's just Real Madrid through and through. That's what they stand for, and the fact he won't be there, I feel like it's like the soul of the Real Madrid team is going to be missing. And obviously with the quality of City as well, at the Etihad the game will be taking place. The remaining round 16 fixtures will be played at the representatives' home ground. Obviously the second legs was meant to play at, so I think that also gives a massive advantage for Manchester City. With 2 away goals, I'll be very surprised if they don't come out as winners, but you can't write off a team like Real Madrid. Won the Champions League so many times, and especially in the recent time under Zidane, they were just unstoppable at one point. Obviously Liverpool ended that last season, but I'm not going to write them off. Definitely not, because I'd be silly to do such a thing, because 1-0 Real Madrid early on in the game's on its head. So you can't write off a team, but if City can kind of get control of the game early and kick on and dictate the play, then I think it's going to be hard for Real Madrid to come out of that tie as winners. But anything can happen in football. You would have told me that Atletico Madrid would go to Anfield and beat them 3-2 to knock them out of the Champions League. I would have said, no, of course not. But again, like I said, anything can happen. So Real Madrid obviously have done well in the league. I know they're top of La Liga, and as I'm recording this video, I think they won their game, or when I checked they were winning 1-0 anyway. So they'll be coming into it with confidence, and hopefully by the time the game happens, City may have won the FA Cup, so they would have won a double already, and for probably finishing second in the league as well. So if you look at it like that, it's a decent season for Manchester City. 2 cups, second in the league, obviously behind an unstoppable Liverpool, and all due respect, all respects to Liverpool for winning the league, because the way they did it was just fantastic. And with City, obviously they've had a few ups and downs since the restart, losing to Chelsea and losing to Southampton. But I think when it comes to the big games now, City need to start showing they are one of the best teams in Europe. And I think this is a great time to do it with the whole world watching. Like, the whole world will be watching anyway, even if it was, with crowds or not. But the fact that everyone has been looking forward to these games so badly, City have got to get on the main stage and perform. So with that, I think City will proceed to the quarterfinals. But saying that, anything can happen. So if Real Madrid go through, it wouldn't surprise me. And then going on to the other game, Lyon-Juventus, I think it was 1-1 after the first leg at Lyon Stadium. And I didn't watch the game, I won't lie. I think I was doing commentaries on other games, so I couldn't watch it. But Lyon should be a team messed around. Last season they played City, and I think they beat them at the Etihad, and they drew against them in the group stage at their ground. Obviously they lost a few players from that team they had, but still, they've got the players like Depay, Aouar. They're the two ones that stand out for me that I've heard have had fantastic seasons. So despite Juventus having that away goal, like I said, anything can happen in these games. If Lyon nick a goal early on, it changes the whole dynamic of the game. I know Juventus have going to have a lot more experience with playing in this environment of competitive football. Playing Serie A, playing the cup final as well. I know they lost it, but still that's experience that Lyon probably won't have, because Lyon won't have been playing these highly competitive games with no crowd. The best thing they can do is play friendlies. That's just not quite the same intensity that Juventus will probably have, despite playing so many games since the football's been back, and with Ronaldo as well. You're straight on on an advantage when you've got Ronaldo. Yes, he doesn't perform every game, but as soon as you say I've got Ronaldo in my team, you straight away have one on the opponent, and if he can perform, then I'm sure Juventus can coast through very smoothly. So for that one as well, I think I'm going to say Juventus would and should really go through, but if Lyon go through, that'll be a massive upset, and that'd be a fantastic achievement for Lyon getting to the quarterfinals this season. So if that did happen and it was a Manchester City Juventus quarterfinal, it would be in Lisbon. I think it'd be a one-game tie as well, and I think with all the ones that we'll discover, I think they'll all be very tight games, these quarterfinals, these one-off ties, because no one wants to make a mistake. One mistake made, and that could be the game lost, depending on when that mistake's made. So I think there'll be very close encounters, but that won't take away the quality that will be on show. And I feel like if the game opens up, because it could be an open game instead of a tight game, both teams might just want to be going for it. So it depends how the teams take it. But if Manchester City play their usual way, which I'm presuming they will, that means Juventus will more than likely set up more defensively for a counter-attacking system, where they probably get it out wide to the flanks and get crosses into Ronaldo. Because say if maybe Garcia plays at the back for City, he's straight away a liability at the back, just not because his quality of defending, he's a great defender, but I think he's 5'9". So they'll look to exploit that. So I think in terms of that game, it was very interesting tactically in how both managers set up. But if Real Madrid go through and they play Juventus, I think again very similar. I think Real Madrid will try and get on the front foot, but Juventus, how good they are defensively, I think Real Madrid could struggle. So no matter who plays Juventus, even if they go through, because you've got to remember Lyon could cause an upset, no matter how this tie goes, I think the team from the Real Madrid Man City game will more likely be the team that are going to go into that game more positively compared to Lyon and Juventus, whoever goes through in that game. So for me, if I was to give an honest prediction to who would go through that quarter final, I'd probably say Manchester City, just because of their quality they have. And I feel like in that game against Real Madrid, they showed, and Guardiola showed his tactics of how he can adapt to when playing a really big team. And obviously that was only one game against Real Madrid, but I feel like Guardiola will say, look, we've got to win this. We've really got to get through and just and win this, because being so disappointed in the Premier League City this season, City fans will want this Champions League, or at least a good attempt of it. So if they don't even get past Real Madrid, even, that'll be such a horrific tumble from Manchester City. And if they don't get to the semi-finals, I know they've got to play either Juventus or Lyon, but the board and City and even Guardiola will be really disappointed with that. So on that one, I think City will, out of those two, will go through to the semi-finals. But I'm not writing off Juventus, Lyon, or Real Madrid. I think anyone from them can go through, because you just don't know with one-off games that are going to be left in the quarterfinals. So we're going to move on quickly. We're going to go to RB Leipzig versus Atletico Madrid, and as soon as I saw this game, I was definitely intrigued. Two different styles, two great managers as well. We saw Atletico Madrid go to Anfield and just put on an absolute masterclass of performance, in my opinion. They went to Anfield, they know what the job they had to do, and even when their job was doing well and Liverpool actually went in the lead in the game in extra time, that didn't, affect them or anything. They 10 minutes later, they went up the other end and scored 2 goals. So as soon as you see that, Madrid are going to be up there with, going all the way, really, because if they can perform the way they did at Anfield against all the other teams, they put themselves in strong stead for a good chance of going far in this competition. But when you've got RB Leipzig, who I remember watching in the Bundesliga restart, and I was a little bit confused of how they were performing. There was just they just seemed off. They didn't seem sorry. They didn't seem. It was just it seemed off. They're being praised for being this, really good team, and some of the performances they were putting in just didn't really represent what I was being told. They did play one game which I did watch on. It was a Sunday, and I think it was against Mainz, and they must have won about 4-5-0, I think. And that's when they played well. But then I've seen them at home draw many games and put aside by Dortmund. It'll be interesting to see how they come back, because obviously they have a month's break now because Bundesliga is over, so they now have a month's break until these fixtures. So interesting how they prepare, and if they come back stronger and can have a right good go at Atletico Madrid. So for that one, I think I'm gonna go with Madrid, but that's a really tight game, and it'll be a good contest to see who goes through in that. I wouldn't bet on that game for sure. I can't bet anyway, I'm not old enough, but that's going to be a tight one, because there's two different systems. You have a 3 at the back over Leipzig with wing backs, and then just a resolute 4 at the back and 4 in midfield for Madrid. It'll be interesting how they come together and kind of try and take on each other tactically and to try and get in behind. So for that one, I'm going to edge towards Madrid, but it wouldn't surprise me if RB Leipzig are the one who adventures into the semi-finals. And then for the next one, we've got Napoli, Barcelona, and Chelsea, Bayern Munich. I touched on the Bayern Munich and Chelsea game in the intro, so I'll just start with the Napoli-Barcelona game, and that was also 1-1 in Naples. Again, I didn't watch it. I think it was the same time that that one of the games the commentating was on, so I didn't get to watch it. But Napoli have been okay in the restart in the Serie A. They're not done too bad. Obviously, beat Juventus in the Coppa Italia, which is obviously great, confidence to take. And obviously, it's going to be a massive, massive ask for Napoli to go to the Nou Camp and try and get through. But, Barcelona haven't done well in the Champions League in the last few years. Obviously, beaten by Roma, another Italian side. I think it was 2 seasons ago. So, Napoli definitely going to go in there, not thinking they're out already, because, the game's not over. It's only 1-1. Yes, Barcelona have an away goal, which means Napoli have to score, but, with Barcelona in these recent Champions League years, they haven't quite lived up to potential. So if Napoli could maybe cause an upset, then that would be massive for the competition. So for that one, I'm going to obviously edge Barcelona to go through, but don't write off Napoli on that game, because they're the underdogs. They have nothing to lose, and all the pressure's on Barcelona. And even obviously in recent years, they haven't took that pressure very well. So I'm going to say Barcelona, but Napoli, if they just get the game plan right and concentrate, you just never know in the Champions League. They're obviously there for a reason. They're good enough to be at this level and at this part of the competition, so don't write Napoli off. And in the Chelsea-Bayern Munich game, 3-0 already to Bayern Munich, 3 away goals. Hard to see Chelsea finding a way back into that one. If it was 3-0 from a home leg where Bayern had to go to Chelsea, I still favour Bayern Munich. But the fact it's 3 away goals, I think it's just an impossible mountain to climb. Again, like I've been saying all the way through the video, I'm not going to switch what I'm saying, but the game's the tie's not over, so Chelsea can do it. Will they? Don't think so. They've been okay since the restart. They've beaten Manchester City, but the fact they have to go to Bayern Munich, who have won the Deutsche Pokal, have won Bundesliga by a good amount of points are on the confidence. All the players are on high sky confidence that they've never been on, and the fact they were playing probably some of the best football I've seen in a long time puts them as stern favourites, and I think they'll go bring Chelsea to their stadium, the Allianz Arena, and just wipe the floor, if I'm going to be honest, in the nicest way. So I think that's quarter final will end up being Barcelona versus Bayern Munich, and for that game, because these are so tough to predict, I would edge towards Bayern Munich, just because of what I've seen of them, and everything about their squad is just so well balanced. They've got everything that a team would need: pace, defensively strong, good keeper, fantastic midfielders. They've got everything, and obviously Barcelona, they've got Lionel Messi for goodness sake. You can't write a team off who've got Lionel Messi. But you've got to remember, if he plays right wing where he's been playing for the last few years, he's got to come up against Alphonso Davies, and that will be a tough ask for Messi, because I know it sounds ridiculous me saying that, but Alphonso Davies is so quick and strong, and even if he gets past him, the pace Alphonso Davies has for recoveries, you've seen it against Haaland. I think that happened. He lost the tackle and Haaland burst way ahead, and he just absolutely glided back into defending, win the ball back. So that'll be an interesting battle. And I just think Bayern Munich, just on the confidence they're on right now, I just can't see them losing that game. I think it'll be very close as well. And if Barcelona, like I said, if Barcelona go through, wouldn't surprise me at all. They've got players like Messi, Suarez, that Ansu Fati, who's looked very good. Obviously the usual Jordi Alba, Busquets, PK, Longley at the back to Stegen in net. So I think it'll be a very close game. I think these games in the quarterfinals in Lisbon will, I think, decided by one goal, maybe two at max. I wouldn't say no one's going to win these games by 3-4 goals, but I could be wrong. Like I said, some teams might have a bad day as they're only one game knockout games. So it just depends what team you get out on the day. But for that one, I would say it would be a Barcelona versus Bayern Munich quarter-final. Moving on to the last game drawn, it was surprise team Atalanta who had a shocking stats in their group stage. I think they lost their first 3 group games, or didn't win definitely in any of them, and have ended up getting to the quarter-finals. Obviously battered Valencia, as they were one of the teams that were able to get their round of 16 games completed. Will take on PSG, same as Lyon. Obviously their league was cancelled and they were given the league, so the best thing they'll have is pre-season friendly, not real competitive games. And obviously they'll know the meaning of playing important games in front of no fans, because they did finish their tie off against Dortmund in front of no fans, so they'll know the feeling as well. And Atalanta have done fantastic to get to where they are. I'm taking nothing away from them, but I feel just PSG power in attack and their defensive qualities, I just can't see any way for them to beat PSG. I think Atalanta will give it a good game, a good fight, but I think in the end, the quality and just the power PSG have in their team, I think we'll see them through to a quarter-final. So if we take that into consideration, quarter-final 1 and quarter-final 3 play each other. So my predictions would be a Manchester City Bayern Munich semi-final and a Atletico Madrid PSG semi-final as well. In those games, I just don't think you can really predict, and I'm not going to, because I'll probably make that a separate video when these quarterfinals are done in a month's time. So I won't make any predictions on them, but I will say that Manchester City versus Bayern Munich game, if it lives up to expectation, both teams are on it, that could be one of the best games we've seen in a long time in recent times. I'm talking like the last few years, obviously not like decades, because you can't guarantee that, but two very similar teams wanting to score goals, wanting to attack, play high lines. I think that'll be a really good game. And Atletico Madrid and PSG, I think, will also be an interesting counter, because Madrid just playing a type of football that it's hard to break down. I know Liverpool scored twice against them at Anfield, but I don't think PSG will be used to playing teams like Madrid. I feel they'll struggle. I think they'll hit a brick wall in a way. So unless obviously they should have the talent to probably get through the Madrid defence. Obviously, Neymar, Mbappe, Icardi, midfield talent, Di Maria, Verratti. So you have the talent to break them down, but obviously playing in the French league, you don't play teams like Atletico Madrid. So the fact they'll have to prepare for that game, I think they'll find it difficult to do so. But that is the way I see the quarterfinals and the semi-finals, and also the remaining round of 16 fixtures to go. Closer to the time, I'll be announcing which games I'm going to commentate on, because obviously I will be doing a few of these. Obviously, I love Champions League games. I think they're fantastic. So that'll be closer to the time. As well, this is going to be uploaded on Sunday. So tomorrow will be the Rising Up Softball County, the start the playoffs episode. I think episode 14. So make sure you watch that. That's going to be a massive game. Commentary also on Tuesday as well. Chelsea versus Norwich, and then one on Thursday of Leicester versus Sheffield United. So make sure you're there for all those games. Really regular uploads now, which I'm happy I'm doing. And Manchester City's Champions League ban is announced on Monday, so the day of this video. So as you see this, you'll probably know the outcome. Maybe next Sunday I might bring out the start of Football Talk, my series. I'm not guaranteeing it, but even if it's not the start of that series, I'll make a video on the ban and the outcome and what I think. But for now, that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, comment what you think these games are going to finish, your predictions, and let me know if you want more. But for now, it's going to be the end of the video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you hopefully for the next upcoming videos on the channel.